thing came out of this, as we all know. Outside the establishment, outside the Clinton administration, the second half of 1998, there was an unequivocal belief that the KLA was a typical terrorist organization. This is also confirmed by a carefully compiled document prepared by the Senate Committee of the Republican Party in 1999, and at which it says, I quote, "At the time when the NATO bombing started, the partnership between the Clinton administration and the KLA was unequivocal. Such demonstrative acceptance on the part of leading persons from the Clinton administration of an organization which was branded a terrorist organization by one of its officials only a year beforehand is shocking, to put it mildly. It is even more important that the new partnership between Clinton and the KLA can conceal the worrisome characteristics of the KLA that Clinton did not take into account." End of quotation. This is an official document of the Senate of the United States of America. The nature and role of the KLA as a terrorist organization is the subject of documents, and in the transcript of the U.S. Congress from the year 2000, Franz Silufio from the program called Globalized Organized Crime Program, when testifying before Congress with the Representative Juridical Committee, stated, "What was concealed from the eyes of the public was the fact that the KLA got part of its funds from the sale of narcotics. Albania and Kosovo are in the middle of the Balkan route, which links up the crescent of Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Western Europe. The value is about $400 million per year, and about 80% of the heroin intended for Europe goes along that route." All of this was said in a hearing in the U.S. Congress, Boston, only recently. An analysis of Security Council resolutions in Kosovo and Metohija.
I think the witnesses are protected.
Well, I'm finding it a little hard to follow exactly what the accused is saying, but I think the passage that deals with protected evidence ought probably to be given protection now.
Yeah, it will be redacted. And be more careful in the future, Mr. Milosevic.
This is not evidence that has to be protected. It is the witness who has to be protected. I did not mention who the witness was or his name. I'm just reminding you of what the witness testified about over here. Resolutions of the Security Council about Kosovo and Metohija adopted before the NATO aggression against Kosovo show that the Security Council believed that in Kosovo and Metohija there were terrorist attacks that had taken place, and the KLA in these resolutions was clearly defined as a terrorist organization. Resolution 1160. I quote, "Condemnation of all acts of terrorism by the KLA, the Kosovo Liberation Army, or any other group or individual, and any kind of external support to terrorist activity in Kosovo, including the financing, arming, and training thereof." And we can see who was involved in this training, etc. In paragraph 2, the leadership of the Kosovo Albanians is called upon to, I quote, "condemn all terrorist actions," and it underlines that all elements of the Albanian community in Kosovo should achieve their means and objectives, their objectives only by peaceful means. In paragraph 8, reference is made to similar matters. This remained a mere promise never fulfilled. Terrorist activities were reinforced, more and more weapons were brought in, and the terrorists acted even more intensively with the engagement of the West. Resolution 1199, I quote, condemns terrorism as a means of attaining political objectives of any group or individual, and condemns any kind of external support to such activity in Kosovo, including the provision of weapons for terrorist activities in Kosovo. What the Clinton administration did, and which led to what happened on the 11th of September, is a major thing, and nobody can deny that. You can see how many of the suspects who were arrested took part in activities conducted by the KLA in Kosovo. There is ample proof of that in Kosovo and in Bosnia-Herzegovina, practically as members of Al-Qaeda. The Security Council expresses its concern over reports of constant violations of the bans on providing weapons to terrorists, as stated in Resolution 1160, and again in paragraph 6, it insists on the condemnation of all terrorist activities and that all members of the Albanian community should achieve their goals through peaceful means only. In paragraph 11, it is stated that financial resources should not be gathered in the territory of any country. In Resolution 1203, there is a condemnation of terrorism of any group or individual in order to achieve political objectives, including the provision of weapons in Kosovo and the carrying out of terrorist activities in Kosovo, and also concern is expressed over continued violations of previous resolutions passed by the Security Council. In paragraph 10, I quote, all of this has been a quotation, the Security Council insists that the leadership of the Kosovo Albanians should condemn terrorist activities. However, they had never done so. Terrorist activities of the KLA, that is. So, in contrast to these evident facts which pointed to the terrorist character of the KLA, and according to Security Council resolutions, every country had the duty to do their best to suppress such activities. The Clinton administration, under the influence of a strong Albanian lobby and their drug-related money, from 1999 onwards, publicly and directly sided with this terrorist organization and became its protector. Therefore, it is not surprising that after that period, it took measures to prevent the breakup of the KLA and to ensure them the status of a party involved in the entire process. And it is in this capacity that they brought them to Rambouillet even. In this public rehabilitation, Holbrooke, together with Gelbart, the other U.S. representative, met with a group of terrorists of the KLA and conducted a dialogue with them before TV cameras. Soon afterwards, he admitted that Gelbart had previously established contact with them already. During August and September 1998, the police forces practically broke up and neutralized the terrorists of the KLA and their strongholds. Then again, representatives of the Clinton administration came onto the scene, and then the verification mission came. Later on, it was established that their only objective was to revitalize and reanimate and protect the KLA.